from Centre for Cancer Nutrition and welcome to my Christmas kitchen. But Jamie Oliver over the years has been dishing up some of the best and easiest Chrissy recipes, and there are a number of reasons why we like these recipes at Centre for Cancer Nutrition. First, for the most part, most of the recipes require very little effort, and that ticks our box for not taking up too much of your precious energy that has been zapped by cancer treatment. Second, many of Jamie's recipes can be prepared in advance. This also ticks our lack of energy box because you can prep things over a number of days instead of all at once, plus a lot of them can be cooked in bulk and prepped and then frozen, so it's winner chicken dinner, or it might be turkey. Another reason is quite a few, and I mean lots, that are already suitable for many different side effects. You just have to know which ones and know what to look for in a recipe. Plus many more can be adapted and tweaked to suit a great number of side effects from your cancer treatment. And I'm going to point out a few of those for you now. So let's take a look at Jamie's Comforting Mash, and this is from his new cookbook, Together. If you're experiencing lack of taste or bland taste, try adding in and stirring through some miso paste or some grated Parmesan cheese for that extra umami and to embiggen, that's a made up word, go with it, the flavour. If your mouth can take it, try adding in horseradish or wasabi, and that will help the nose have a good tingle, the eyes a good run, and provide a bit of excitement for dulled sense of taste. If you don't want tingly, add chopped fresh mint for a cooling effect. And if you need some crunch, add in some croutons at the end, and that gives your mouth some extra texture to think about. Now, for difficulty swallowing and dry mouth and throat, you may want to thin out the consistency of the mash a little to help it go down. So add more liquid and maybe adding cream or lashings of butter to make it slippery and easier to swallow. Or you could smother it in gravy, which is my favourite thing. Now, for mouth sores, eat this mash at a cooler temperature, not piping hot. For nausea, try adding in some freshly grated ginger or a sprinkle of cinnamon. Now the next one is Brilliant Brussels. Now, for a lack of smell and taste, grate over a bit of Parmesan before serving or splash on some Worcestershire sauce. Be sure to cook the Brussels until they're very tender for difficulty chewing and swallowing. And for a dry mouth and throat, use extra olive oil or create a dressing or a sauce from some full fat yogurt or a Greek yogurt. Now for mouth sores, leave out the bacon and finely shred the Brussels after they've cooked. And if everything is tasting too salty, leave out the bacon again. Now for one of Jamie's famous turkey roasts. Flavour under the skin using umami ingredients in the butter like chopped sun-dried tomatoes, miso paste, or a bit of Vegemite or Marmite. Now for difficulty chewing and swallowing, dry mouth and throat and mouth sores, you want to have very moist and tender turkey meat, so keep the bird very moist when cooking. Now if the meat is nice and tender but it's still not easy for you to chew and swallow, or it feels dry in the mouth, consider cutting up the meat into tiny little pieces. And these pieces can be put into a soup, and if that's still not enough, blend it up into a smooth soup. Or you might want to try lashings of gravy with it first, and if that does the trick, great. And make sure the meal isn't piping hot again for mouth sores. And if everything is tasting too salty, avoid seasoning with anything salty under the skin or on top of the skin altogether. And for nausea, think plain cooking with no strong or robust ingredients or flavours. Plain turkey breast, no seasoning, no skin. Now the last one is baked squash, and this is one of the favourites in my house. But for dull taste buds, reconstitute some shiitake mushrooms and chop them up and mix them into the stuffing mix. Now for difficulty chewing and swallowing, cook everything until it's really tender. And you could also puree this into a soup or into a mash. You can try finely chopping the filling ingredients and might just want to skip the seeds. Add extra moisture for a dry mouth and throat. A lovely yogurt dressing would do really well with this one. Now for taste changes. This recipe is already great for metallic taste. If everything is tasting too sweet though, skip the dried crannies and perhaps sub in some fresh crannies. If everything is tasting too salty, skip the sun-dried tomatoes if they're high in salt, and perhaps add a drizzle of maple syrup. And that's the same for bitter taste. Add in a drizzle of maple syrup. So So that's just a few recipes, but I hope it gives you some ideas about how you can tweak Jamie's recipes. Oh, there's a bug here. Tweak Jamie's recipes to suit your side effects. And most importantly, be able to sit down with your family and your friends and find joy in every bite this Christmas together.